Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general mid-month reading for the sign of Virgo, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the last 2 weeks of February. Hope you're well. Using the Llewellyn Tarot today, and this is going to be slightly different to the main monthly reads because we're just covering that 2-week period from the 15th to the 28th of May. So I'm going to try and keep it nice and short, and we're going to not pull any clarifiers if we can possibly manage it, but you know, I do break my own rules here and there. Sorry, I know Virgos hate that, but like I do, I'm a fire sign. So we're looking for the lesson in this one. So what we're going to do is we look at the energy of where you are right now, and then we're going to move beyond that and we're going to see what it is teaching you. Sometimes it's trying to teach you something, sometimes it's clearing the way for something new to come in, right? And we'll see what it is when the cards get down on the table. Itchy nose. If you are interested, I've done a 6-month overview for all of the signs for January to June, obviously. There's a link down in the description box for that. That's over on Vimeo. And if you feel like it, if not, then that's all cool too. Anyway, let's have a look and see what is going on with you. So I have 3 cards for Virgo, please. Oh goodness, apparently we can have loads of cards. We have the 3 of Cups. What do we have here? We have the 9 of Swords in reverse, and we have the 8 of Cups, astonishing, and we have the Knight of Pentacles. I love this for you, Virgo. I really, really do. We've got the King of Pentacles, no, King of Cups at the bottom of the deck, which is Scorpio energy. And it's followed by the Fool, which is Aries, right? But the combination of this is really, really beautiful, and I cannot help but feel like this is a major continuation from your monthly read. Now, I very rarely actually remember the specific contents of readings, but yours really, really struck me at the beginning of the month, and it was about Virgo coming online, right? And this seems to be speaking even more to this, because what we've got here is somebody who is in something approaching what feels like an active control of their emotions. Now, this is relative. Now, I'm not saying like you're just fixed from everything that you went through last year, far from it. However, there is an increasing sense of empowerment where your own emotions are concerned, and there is, interestingly, levels of trust beginning to return to you too, and that's something that you've really, really struggled with, whether that is the trust of people or the trust of yourself, right? Because that's been something that's been really, really missing in you for some time, right? Now, the cards that we have out on the table here, like I said, 3 of Cups, we've got the 9 of Swords and the 8 of Cups together. 9 of Swords is in reverse, and then we have the Knight of Pentacles, which is Virgo energy, and I love this for you, Virgo. I really, really do. The 3 of Cups talks about emotional support, and perhaps that is that you have found a tribe of people who get you and who are making you feel in some way that you are able to empower yourself. That's possible. But it could be that those people who have been trying to stand by you for the last year or so, you know, who we've noticed at times over the course of 2020, shut that window, were trying to be there for you, but it was almost like you were almost impenetrable at points, you know, with it. Then they were kind of there and they were doing their thing, but it wasn't really getting into where was really hurting, right? Which is understandable. You were in a very difficult position last year, but it feels like it's starting to trickle through, right? It's by the moonlight, and it feels like that kind of soft moonlight, right? It's not the sun, it's not scorching your skin, it's not something that you can perceive that's blinding and stuff like that. It's that soft, gentle, silvery light of the moon. It's reflected, in fact, almost, you know, and it feels like it's trickling down and it's just starting to illuminate the way for you. Just a little bit, right? Just enough that you can pick out shapes and you can kind of navigate a path in between things where it was almost pitch black for you before. Now, there is some movement there, and I love this because we go to the 9 of Swords and we go to the 8 of Cups together with the 9 of Swords in reverse. Now, the 9 of Swords is something that you know very well, Virgo. It is overthinking at best. At worst, it is full-blown clinical depression. It is mental illness. It is anxiety. It is being kept awake at night, you know, true insomnia. It can cover the gamut of all of these things, but when it comes out in the reverse, it is it does feel like a grip being loosened, right? You may not be out of the woods yet, but like I said, there is, now you can pick out the shapes of the trees, and it's like its hold on you, this really tight hold, is just relaxing enough that it can give you hope that at some point it will go entirely, right? It's not quite there yet, but it's starting. And then we've got this Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups is all about moving away from things that have really, well, the received wisdom is that it's things that no longer serve you, but I always find that kind of a flat interpretation, particularly for you, Virgo, where 2020 was entirely characterized by themes of loss and grief and all that sort of thing, like the memories are important and we hold on to those, but the really difficult emotions that were paralyzing, utterly paralyzing of you, I don't think you moved away from them altogether, but I think that there is something is shifting, something has moved, and now that little silvery trickle of hope is coming through, like Virgo is coming online. And here you are. I love to see signs showing up in their own readings. This is a really authentic presentation of their energy, and here you are, you, Virgo, are here. Like, where it's felt like you've occupied this planet really physically only for some time, it's like it's all kind of coming in here. And I like the Knight of Pentacles because it's about knowing what is important, and you increasingly are getting a sense of the fact that you are important too, right? You've been in that Five of Cups energy for such a long time that you were lost in it, completely lost in it, and that's what that energy is. It's what it does. But somewhere from there, you are retrieving what is important, and it's you, and you're starting to see that for yourself. I love that. Right, let's have a look and see what this is, right? I think that we can see the lesson that's going on here. It is that you have started to find your way, right? Or at least have a sense that you're headed back to where the path is. And whether this is to learn a lesson or whether this is paving the way for what comes next, who knows? Let's have a look. Tell me why this energy now. So we have death. Oh, we have the Four of Cups and we have the universe together. I like that. I really do like that for you. Let's have a look. And we have the Ten of Wands. Yeah, like, oh, Virgo, it's been so very, very hard. But look at where you are now. Something that was absolutely inconceivable for you 6 months ago. Look at where you are. Look at the strides that you have made. And they may only be very small, but every single one of them is worth celebrating because it is progress. And that's what we're after. Not perfection, just progress, right? We have death. Four of Cups in the world. And the Ten of Wands. Now the Death card is huge. It's huge for a number of reasons, not only because it's most tarot readers' favourite card because of everything that it represents, right? It is a clearing out of the old and a welcoming in of the new, because I don't see this card as endings, full stop, not at all. I see it as a process, as a cycle, right? So as an end fades out, so a new start fades in. It's very rarely like bam, bam, with nothing in between. There's a what's the word I'm looking for? Phased end and a phased beginning. Energies in, and that's probably what you want, because 2020 was very shocking for you. I think that actually most of you spent the full year in a state of shock that you're starting to emerge out of now. But for a lot of you, because themes of grief and loss and bereavement, whether it was actual people passing or whether it was relationships breaking down or whatever, the death energy was very, very present over you in 2020. It feels like death is sort of sitting there and going, right, okay, I've done my thing now, I'm going to move on. And it does feel like death is moving away. You're not sitting in the shadow of death anymore, because death is going, right, I've done this, all right, I'm off. It talks about transformation. You are transformed. We know this. You are a different person to who you were in 2019, for sure. But you're transforming again. And this time for the positive, because what we've got here with this Four of Cups, with this rejection feeling, with this abandonment, you know, and that's been what it is. It is the left behind feeling that we have going on. It is how everything came to a sudden and shocking end, and then it was just like the worst fucking rug pull on you ever. But we have the world. We have this coming to an end. We have this coming to completion. We have this part of your life now completing, right? Because did we not have the Fool? Yes, the Fool was one of the shadow cards at the bottom of the deck. Whenever you've got a major life cycle ending, right, it is right and proper that we see the Fool, and that's where we're going. This is where you're going, Virgo. I'm going to be with you every step of the way of this, but I can't tell you how proud I am of you. You know, look at what you are doing here. It's incredible work. And you have really, really suffered, right? It's been really, really hard. And it is quite likely that there are people around you who will never truly understand the extent to which you have suffered, right? They can kind of perceive it. They see maybe you haven't, you know, maybe you haven't been socializing. Well, none of us have really been socializing. And maybe some of you are introverts, because that's kind of a Virgo thing to do. But, you know, they don't understand how difficult it is for you to get out of bed every morning. They don't understand how difficult it is to take care of your basic needs, like brushing your teeth and drinking water and making sure you're eating good food and exercising and all of those things. Like, you have just been crushed under the weight of what you've been dealing with, right? But with this Ten of Wands, it is coming to an end. And it's not going to be a sudden end. It's not going to be like you get up one day and just like, hey, everything's awesome. Like, we're not talking about that. We are talking, though, about an understanding that it is time, one by one, if you can, to put these down. Right? That's what all of this energy is about here. Oh, let's have a look for some advice. Let's see what the cards have to say about this. Some advice for Virgo, please. Oh, Virgo, this is so beautiful. We have the Fool card again. We have the Queen of Cups, and we have the Ten of Pentacles. And this is wonderful. It's absolutely beautiful. The Fool is everything that I was just talking about there, but look how he's come out again, right? Be under, like, no illusions. You are absolutely on the right path, right? For sure. Because this part of your life is coming to completion. Right? And I know a lot of you have struggled with a lot of that, because there are a lot of complicated feelings, particularly when you're dealing with grief and loss and things that are associated with allowing something to end, right? Letting it go, because sometimes it feels like you're letting the person go. Sometimes it feels like it's undermining the emotions that you had associated with this thing. Like, how can I let it go? Like, it demeans the amount of emotion that I have towards it, except that you're starting to understand now that actually you will always stand still if you don't allow this to occur, right? And this is where you are now. But just as this is closing out, so this then comes in for you, right? I don't think you're about to start jumping over waterfalls and stuff like that, but it's the possibility. It is trust, it is faith, it is hope that things will get better, and they are. You know? We've got the Queen of Cups here. I remember talking to someone who's a regular client of mine who is a Virgo and struggled with this stuff over 2020, and she said, I'm sure she won't mind me sharing this with you, that it felt like there'd been a connection cut between here and here, and just no matter how much she tried to put it together, it just wasn't happening. This feels like it is now starting to happen. The Queen is receptive energy. Right? And water is receptive energy. Obviously, we're talking about emotions, but it's like allowing things in now, right? It's that emotional stuff starting to actually penetrate the heart of you and do what it needs to do, which is, you know, is allow things to heal. And then we've got the Ten of Pentacles, right? It is commitment. It is legacy and heritage combined right there. You know, it is a thing. It's almost knowing that life goes on, whatever, you know. And knowing that this, although this is a, you know, a snapshot just there of that point where heritage and legacy collide, it will not stay like this. It moves and it morphs, and it must do, because life goes on and the world keeps turning and everything keeps happening. But it doesn't mean what happens a year from now in this scene is any less wonderful than what happened before. You know, it's like taking the memories with you, but fully showing up, you know, to the best of your ability, to the best that you possibly can, with the means that you have available. And at the moment they are reduced for sure, but they will return bit by bit, right? And allowing yourself to be there, to be present, allowing yourself to perceive that there will be a future, you know, which necessarily involves a certain amount of faith, a certain amount of hope, a certain amount of trust. I love this for you, Virgo. I really, really do. And I don't feel like my words have really done justice to it, but I feel like if you know, you know, right? And I know that I know. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope that this was helpful for you, as ever, because that's always the only thing that I really set out to do. And know that I love you all very, very much. And I'll see you soon.